What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Look, tonight we gotta talk about something that shouldn't even be a conversation. Jim Jones, Tony Yayo, in the latest round of manufactured drama by Jim Jones. See, when Tony Yayo spoke about 50 looking out for him, everybody knew what he meant. He wasn't dissing anybody. He wasn't taking shots at Hov. He was simply praising 50, the same man who put his whole team in position. The same man who still takes people on tour when he don't have to. That's called loyalty. That's called a brotherhood. And when Yayo said it, you could feel it was said with gratitude. He was saying, I'm blessed to have a brother that looks out for his team. Not, I'm better than Memphis Bleak. Not 50 richer than Jay-Z. But of course, Jim Jones heard something else. Jim Jones turned that whole sentence into a battle plan. He took a moment of love and made it a moment of shade. And why? Because anything that mentions 50, he got to stick his nose in it. He been trying to get a response out of 50 for years. This ain't about Tony Yayo. This ain't about Bleak. This is about Jim wanting 50 to acknowledge him again. See, Jim want that old energy back, the GUnit, Dipset era, when everybody was talking about who really getting money. But let's be honest, this time, it ain't the same, because right now, Jim sound like he's searching for relevance. And let's be real, Yayo ain't never say Jim's name. He ain't even thinking about Jim. He was talking about 50 putting his team on private jets, taking them overseas, making sure they got a check, even though they ain't dropping records. That's solidarity. That's a real one behavior. But what does Jim do? He goes on a podcast, starts talking about Yayo being broke, talking about his hygiene, claiming Yayo smoking hard, making sure that he would get a response from Tony Yayo.
Niggas like Yayo talking about, yeah, Jay don't take care of nigga. I don't need Jay to go on tour.
Yo smoke hard coke,
yo, chill. Yo, chill.
You look like you need to be taken care of, nigga. You look like you need to go to the dentist. You need to look like you need to brush your teeth. You look like you need hygiene, nigga. You look like you need help. Tell your man 50 saying you an ounce or something, yo.
You do need
you
that
might
help.
need
That's
2
why,
ounces, nigga.
That's why
Paid in full movie, nigga. I got a G for every bump in your face, nigga. I promise you that, nigga. I promise you that, nigga.
That's why he worried about
Peon, you broke, nigga. You know I got it, nigga. What's up? The
ain't
bag
nobody,
is up. The bolsa.
Hey, yo.
Hey, Flea, where the bolsa at, Flea?
Let me finish that off. Ain't nobody taking care of niggas over here, B. Yo, nah, you good, my nigga. I love it. Niggas deserve it. They need to hear it because they bugging out here. All these niggas worrying about who taking care of who. We take care of we.
Now let's flip the script. Let's talk about Memphis Bleak. Memphis Bleak said it himself on Club R.I.C.H. He was sitting around for years not knowing what to do until his girl said, why don't you ask Jay for a job? And guess what? Jay did what real ones do. He gave him a position at Dipset. He put him back in motion. But let's not get it twisted. That's still Hov looking out. That's still big bro making sure you eat. And that's exactly what Yayo was talking about. When you got a man who don't leave his team behind, you got to honor that. But Jim don't want to hear that. Because if he admits that 50 really takes care of his people, he got to admit that he ain't doing the same. Now let's talk facts. Jim Jones been taking little shots for years. Every few months he finds a way to say, hey, look at me. One day it's going at Pusha T. The next day it's going at Nas. Now it's Tony Yayo. Come on, man. This ain't a battle. This a reach. And you know what's crazy? Jim's talented. He got hits. He got a history. But his biggest enemy right now is his ego. And when your ego outworks your legacy, you start losing the room. Yayo staying quiet. 50 staying cool. They too busy getting money, too busy building empires. And that's what burns Jim up inside. Because no matter how many times he claims, I'm my own boss, the truth is, he is still chasing reactions from real bosses. Now look, I ain't here to drag Jim. I ain't here to mock him, but we gotta call it what it is. He talking money in a conversation that ain't even about money. He talking war and don't even realize he fighting himself. Because to me, this whole thing comes down to insecurity. When you see a man being loved by his brothers and you don't have that same kind of love around you, you start finding reasons to hate on it. You start finding reasons to say, nah, it ain't really like that. But what you really saying is, I wish I had that. And here's the truth. If you've been paying attention to 50, you know for years he rewards loyalty like a king. Look at Yayo. Look at Uncle Murder. He don't owe them nothing, but he still keeps them close and goes on tour with them. In a world where everybody flip on each other for a check, 50 still got his day ones eating with him. And that's all Yayo was speaking on. That's why that comment hit so hard, because we don't see that no more. Everybody talking about brotherhood, but don't nobody live it. Now let's talk about energy. Every time Jim comes up in a conversation, he sound like he trying to convince himself he good. I'm my own boss. Ain't nobody above me. Can't nobody blackball me. And the sad part is, Jim has built a solid legacy. From balling the Dipset anthem, he stamped his place. Now he sound like a man who wants to be back in that era. And you can't rewrite history by picking new enemies. Hip hop used to be all about skill. Now it's all about reaction. Who can get the most quotes? Who can train the longest? And this is what that is. Jim is trying to train. Yayo just trying to thank his brother. It's two different frequencies. So I'm gonna take it out like this. Yayo, keep doing what you doing. You staying loyal to a man who's been loyal to you, and that's rare in this industry. And Jim, instead of trying to pick fights for clout, pick a mirror and ask yourself, why does everything someone else say bother me so much? Because the real ones don't compete with love. They respect it. And until you learn that, you're going to keep making noise, but you never going to make history. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.